Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Powles, publisher of 1851franchise.com. Today, we're going to have a deep dive conversation, a fireside chat with leaders from Pollo Campero. Last and LJ, I want to welcome you to our discussion. I'm going to move that off of your face. Introduction into both of you. Tell me your story. How did you get involved in the brand? Frame your position in the organization, and then we're going to sort of dive into the why you, why now as it relates back to Pollo. LJ, you want to go first? Tell us your story.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So my name is Luis Javier Rodas. Everyone calls me LJ. I have been around in the restaurant industry for 20 plus years. I started back in Guatemala, where the brand is originally from. And since 2016, I have been managing the business here for the US. Currently, I'm the managing director and COO of the company. And we have a great future here in front of us. And very, very excited to have the opportunity to run this beautiful brand for this market.
Very much looking forward to getting into this story. And Blas, so a little bit about your story.
Sure. I'd like to welcome everybody to this webinar. It's nice to have you and be able to speak with you guys. My background here at Campero, I've been here for almost 15 years, started in 2007. Our corporate office here is in Dallas. My background is in finance administration. I've done a lot within the restaurant industry. I have a lot of experience, not only with Pollo Campero. Prior to this, I was in public accounting and did audit some of the bigger franchise groups in the QSR industry. Pollo Campero is something that when I started here in 2007, it's grown on me, and it's been something that's been a great experience over the last 15 years. So I'm really happy to be talking about that and also the brand in the future. So thanks everyone for showing up at this webinar.
Appreciate it. Great intro. So let's dive into this. LJ, talk about maybe a little bit into the insight of what happened 2020 into 2021, and that'll frame the next step, which is, what does outlook look like for 2022?
Yeah, actually, 2020 was a very challenging year for all of us, for everyone in the industry and in many other industries. It was a big challenge. The pandemic hit us really hard in March and part of April. Good news was that we found a way out. We implemented lots of strategies, commercial strategies, specifically for the off-premise consumption of our product. And at the end of the day, we did really good. Starting in May, we saw the revenues starting to grow. And at the end, 2020 was a record year for us. We implemented a call center, we implemented delivery, we did curbside pickup. All our efforts to communicate the brand were turned to digital communication. We stopped doing traditional communication. So that was a big gain because we had the opportunity to reach different kind of consumers that before didn't know or didn't try Campero. With the communication and all the opportunities and different channels that we implemented to do delivery, we had the opportunity to reach different kind of customers, and now they are coming back because they love our product. Many of them are asking us, hey, where have you been? This is fantastic. This is the best food ever. I want to have more. And because of that, 2020 was a very good year. Now 2021 is another record year, even better than 2020. This year, we're going to grow same-store sales growth 35% plus. In 2020, we growth around 20 or 22. So versus 2019, we are on same-store sales growing more than 50%. So it's fantastic. It's a great moment for Campero currently.
How do you feel about 2022 when you're looking at the outlook? I mean, like, the reality is what you said. I think everybody in the restaurant space got punched in the gut due to COVID because it's not something that anybody could prepare for. So you went through it. You were forced to reevaluate things, which you did.
Right.
You've spent the last 2 years perfecting these models so that you are positioned going into 2022. What is that going to look like? How excited are you about, opening the doors up to franchising again? Where's the outlook looking?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, 2022, nothing has changed much. I mean, the pandemic is still here, but the business is doing really good. We have the challenge of keeping opening our dining experience, but for sure that's going to be managed very, very good. So for us, the 2022 is the year where our focus is going to be based in growing both corporate and franchise stores. So we are opening again the doors because of the pandemic. We decided strategically, to stop the growth. It was not the right momentum. No one knew where all this was going to end. So we stopped selling franchising. We decided to put on hold our corporate growth. But now in 2021, we restarted the corporate growth. We have many new signed leases, and we are going to restart and to restart all the growth regarding franchises, and we have a very interesting plan that we put together. But for us, 2022 has to be the year to start the growth in meaning more unit growth.
Love it. And Blas, I want to go back to pandemic because you, in your seats, obviously a numbers guy, but for the first time for a restaurant operator, you're looking at numbers and you're looking at emotions, because you have the emotions of unknown, because this is life, and then you're going to get blasted in business with numbers. So as you're looking at this in your seats, how are you staying calm? How are you looking at opportunity? How are you getting excited? What are the indicators? At what moment did you say, okay, we have the right plan in place?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that we did very well last year was all our digital initiatives were already in place. What do I mean by that? We had a call center, we had the mobile app, we had a loyalty program, curbside, etc. So that really allowed us to accelerate a lot of the sales that we had in these various channels. So initially, like everyone else in the restaurant industry, there was a concern. What does this mean? What does the new normal mean? Working from home, taking care of not only our customers, but our employees throughout the whole pandemic was significantly one of the most important aspects of what we wanted to do. What really set us apart, I believe, is we had a cohesive executive team that understood each one's role. We understood where each one needed to assist in our plan that we already had in place. We did have to do some pivots. We did have to recalibrate along the way. But the good news is, everywhere we went and everything we did was something that accelerated our sales. But we also wanted to make sure that the customer experience was maintained given the circumstances that we're in. So initially, Nick, it was concern like everybody else. Then we got to the point where we got stabilized. We realized that we still had a business to run. We also took financial measures to protect our position, balance sheet, etc. But I think at the end of the day, once we were able to get over the initial shock of what happened with the pandemic, and also the fact that our team was very, very well organized and structured during that period of time, where we shared many ideas and also shared it with the industry as a whole, we came out of this a lot stronger. So the good news is, as we've come out of this, every week, every month that we've been performing continues to do well for the brand. We feel very comfortable where we're at. We also believe there's tremendous opportunities, especially in the chicken category, which is one of the fastest growing of all the different categories, which makes it very exciting for all of us. So initial shock, we were fortunate that we had all our digital initiatives in place, and the fact that we had a great team and staff and our customer base that is very loyal to us made it a successful year for us. So we have very positive, looking forward opportunities here with the brand, not only for corporate, and like Luis already said, we have a great opportunity for franchising also.
Blas, I'm going to stay with you with this, and then LJ, I'll have you give your insight on this. But obviously, we just framed how we battled through what everybody else battled through, so we'll put that to the side. But now, Blas, you just said the chicken category and how it's exploding. From my standpoint, I look at the brand and say you've almost been pigeonholed as a Latin chicken brand, but the reality is if you take your product and you put it against any of the quote unquote darlings of the industry, the reality is your product ends up being much more superior than everyone else. Do you feel part of it, of the direction that the future continues to go in is that a diversification of customer, that you do have a product that is significantly better and more flavorful than everybody else, and that's something that you're going to continue to take credit for as you bring on new franchisees?
Very good question. Yeah, the brand itself has been very successful for many years, but really what makes a brand successful is the ingredients of our products, the fact that we take our product very serious. It's a great tasting product. It's tender, crunchy, juicy. It's something that when you do compare it, Nick, to all the other competitors, hands down, our brand always comes on top. And that's something that we take very seriously here from a QA perspective, from a supply chain, to make sure that we have the right ingredients and it's a consistent experience. Remember, we're not only here in the US, but we're in Central America. So we have to make sure the legacy of the flavor and the brand itself is protected, which we do very well here in the US. We also believe that as we bring in franchisees to the system, that they have to have the same passion. So we make sure that the consistency is there, not only from a corporate, but our franchise. At the end of the day, when you look at our flavor profile, that it's unique, it's something that we're very proud of. It's something that, of course, we need to get the word out. We are getting the word out. And as more people start experiencing the flavor of Pollo Campero, not only the chicken, but we have a great grill product, as well as the sides that we have on the menu, people start really understanding that this is a unique experience, a unique flavor that they can't get in any other QSR that's been here in the US for many years. So that's something that we definitely want to bring to the forefront. And it's something that is gaining traction, especially during the last year. With the pandemic, we saw a lot of new customers, people that have told us, where have you been? We love what we're tasting. We love the feel, the colors of the brand. It's something that we want to be part of. So we're very happy that those initiatives have really taken off this year. And to go into the future, I know that's going to be something in the right space in the chicken category. The fact that we're in a unique concept here in the US, and the fact that we have a history and a legacy of the brand will resonate very positive for us in the future.
Now, LJ, same sort of question to you. I mean, where do you get excited about with the opportunity around the product? And obviously some of the exposure that's going to continue to happen, and probably even some of the digital activities that have created an exposure, or the off-premise delivery. Like it is exposing more human beings to this brand, which in turn is going to excite franchisees too. But what's your take on the product?
Yes. Well, our fried chicken, believe me, it's not because it's me, but it's the best. The best you could find. It's fantastic. The flavor, it's juicy. I really invite everyone to try it, because our fried chicken is by far the best. All our product is very fresh. But for instance, let me give you an example. When we launched our sandwiches last year, of course, before doing that, we did many tests, blind tests with many consumers. And there is the best chicken sandwich seller in the market. And of course, we were trying to evaluate our product versus that one. And by far, in a blind test, in the test, our product was by far the best. And also, a couple of months ago, there was an influencer who decided to try all the fried chicken sandwiches he could try in, I believe it was 30 days. Of course, trying a product from big chains, but also mom and pops. And after I believe it was 1 month, after 30 days, trying one sandwich every day, our product was evaluated by him, but we feel very proud about that. We ended like in 3rd or 4th place, something like that. But regarding big chains, big brands, we were the top one. I mean, number one and two were sandwiches from mom and pops and small restaurants. But comparing versus big brands, our Campero fried chicken sandwich was by far the best. So we truly believe we have very, very good product. Our Camperitos, which are our chicken nuggets, are 100% breast. So, and it's a big chunk. So it's a fantastic product. Everyone loves that. And the good thing is that we are very famous because of our traditional chicken, and the breading that we use for the nuggets is the same one. So at the end, you can get real big pieces of chicken in those nuggets. So we truly have a very winning product here in Campero.
Well, what I'm hearing from you, because as a franchise buyer, I want to make sure there's something behind the brand. And clearly there's so much energy and excitement around this product that from a marketing standpoint, it almost lets the customer do the marketing on your behalf. So you open up a new location, people are going to be very excited about the product. They're going to have legacy people who are already fans of the brand. But anybody new that keeps trying this will understand the value of this. That ends up being a part of the marketability, LJ. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's only about having the opportunity of making everyone try. I have been here. I have been with the brand many years, as I said. But here in the US, I have been living also and managing the business for almost 6 years. I have never hear someone trying the product for the first time and telling me, you know what, thank you, but I didn't like it. Never. So our where we are investing our opportunity is to make people try, and we are all our commercial initiatives and strategies are around that, because we know that if they give us the try, they will come back. If I was hearing, hey, you know what, it's good, but maybe next time, no, but it's not the case. No, in many different tests that we have done, we have never heard someone said, you know what, I didn't like it. Never. So that's our biggest opportunity there.
Wes, when you're walking these restaurant shows, which you've started going and making your presence known at some of these, do you see a value in the fact that the industry is marketing chicken as a franchise opportunity or as a restaurant franchise opportunity? Like, does that end up helping you? Because all these, there's plenty of pop-up brands that are emerging into the marketplace, but the reality is you guys have longevity, which means you've already proven out how to operate in various economies. You know what 2008 was like, you know what 2001 was like, you know what previous economies were like. Like, does it excite you that everybody's spending all this money and noise to educate that chicken is such a viable category? And you're walking these shows, Blast, that you're like, thank you. Now let us collect you.
Very much so, Nick. Very much so. What's exciting is, people are entering the chicken category, and it's a competitive market. But one thing, like LJ mentioned, and I've been here 15 years, and I have never heard anyone say they didn't like our chicken since we've been here in the U.S. in the 15 years I've been here, is the excitement around the chicken category. It's something that, Campero's been around for over 50 years in this space. It's something that we are very proud of the flavor profile we have. So when I go to these shows, etc., a lot of people want to complement their portfolio, and chicken is a very good complement to their franchise portfolio, whether they have burgers and pizza. Chicken is something that a lot of people want us to participate in. I do see opportunities even when I'm walking through airports. I walk through airports and I'm wearing my shirt, and people will stop me literally at the airport or on planes, and this is within the US, and say, you have great chicken. That to me is a powerful message that we have here in the US. And a lot of people that I come across at the franchise conventions and etc. know the brand and are very happy to see us at some of these conventions. Like LJ mentioned earlier, the pandemic kind of stalled us a little bit. We needed to figure out what was happening in the situation from a business aspect. But once we were able to stabilize and in certain cases accelerate what we've been able to do in the last year and a half, The chicken category just recently, again, is become at the forefront. And Campero, I hear it more and more. 15 years ago, when I would go to trade shows, I would hear it once in a while. Now I can tell you when I go there, people know who we are. And that's the exciting part of the brand, because it's something that we worked very hard over the last several years here in the US. And the good news is crossover mainstream consumers are wanting to be part of this brand. And again, the chicken sells itself, and the products that we have, not only the chicken and the main grilled and fried, but the side products that we have within the menu are very good. But to your point, Nick, it's something that is exciting. As the pandemic hopefully recedes in the next year or so, it's something that we want to be out promoting, and we are looking for franchisees that would share the same passion that we have for the brand, and maintain the brand, the expectation levels that we have for it. But we're very excited, definitely in the near future, for the brand.
LJ, if I'm looking at a prospect, like they're going to go through, tell me the story of the pandemic, because they need to be comfortable with the fact that you were able to navigate this storm. Then check mark, that's off to the side. Now let's go through the business model. We've gone through product, and clearly you have a standout product there. The next level is I get down to leadership and support, and how do you stand out, and how you're creating structure around me as an operator to help me grow my portfolio. Can you give some insights into how you guys do stand out from a support standpoint, and how much infrastructure you've actually put behind me as a franchise operator?
Yeah, for us, I mean, and please, Blas, you can jump in anytime if you want. At the end of the day, and that's a question that we get every time. For the customer, for our guests, we're very clear that they don't care, or they don't even need to know which restaurant is a franchise store or is a corporate store. And because of that, all the structure, all the service level, everything that we have put together, all our systems, our managing structure, everything that we have is there to support the business. And we don't care if it's a corporate store or it's a franchise store. So exactly the same that we do to manage our stores is exactly the same thing we do for the franchise store. So we use the same structure, the same processes, same kind of analysis. Of course, we have a specific operational structure to support the franchisees and to be very close with them and to have direct communication. But the most important in our strategy is that any decision, anything we do for the business, we need to keep in mind that for the customer has to be irrelevant if it's a corporate or a franchise store. They need to feel exactly the same way. And because of that, at the very top of the management team, we all believe in that. And at the end, everything we do to support the business is exactly the same. And I think that's key. At the moment where you start to think or to feel, no, I'm going to do this because this is my store, this is a corporate store, and the franchise store is a different story, that's a big mistake. And we have seen many brands doing that. And we truly believe that the brand is unique, it's only one, and the support and all the processes need to be exactly the same. And we invest in that. We have been investing in that. We have a very solid team, a big structure. We have a very solid headquarters base here in Dallas. So we truly want to keep up and running a business and not a store.
Love it. Blas, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. It's, we're in markets currently where we have both corporate and franchise, and they both perform very well in those markets. So we believe it's a partnership, whether they're in the same market as we are or they're in their own markets. But at the end of the day, we are the same brand. It's brand standards that we need to maintain, that we need to make sure that the customer does not know the difference. But we also invest in technologies, we invest in resources necessary to support franchisees. And also we understand that if we're going to grow the brand in the next 5 years, that we have to invest in the capabilities necessary for our franchise growth. So So we're very proud of the relationships we have with our current franchisees. It's something that we are in different markets. We're together. We're whether it's marketing promotions, gift card rollouts, etc., that we have in the different new products that we roll out. We always have the franchisee represented at the table, and we always need to consider them as part of our system. So very proud of the fact that we have franchisees who have been with us for many, many years and have the same passion. And we continue to look for future franchisees. We believe that we have the right system here at the home office here in Dallas to allow franchisees to be successful in the future.
Well, and I've studied the brand, and I want to throw this insight in here because I think it's important. There is a difference between franchisors that operate corporate markets and operate franchisee markets. And when you operate one in a collaborative zone, then the brand is what's at the top, and the revenues end up being somewhat consistent on below that. And I think that's a part of when a franchise prospect is evaluating this brand, they should look at that structure. So that being said, LJ, I want to get into growth models, and the reality is you're growing in concentric circles. You identified some key states that you're really going to put the attention to. Is that to protect the brand and so that you guys can invest alongside the franchisee from a corporate standpoint?
Yeah, that's exactly the purpose. It's very hard to manage one store here, another store there. So the opportunity is really big. So we want to start very coordinating. We have put many resources also in our supply chain in order to assure that we will get our product in a timely manner to all the restaurants. So that's why we decided, okay, let's split the country. Let's start. Let's define where we want to start. Let's do it. And what we're going to do regarding franchise stores is that for the next 3 to 4 years, our focus is going to be in the southeast of the country, meaning North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee. And that's going to be our main focus for the next, let's say, 3 years. Also, and the other one, which is not in the southeast, but it's also a market where the opportunity is huge and that we are opening to do franchises, is Arizona, specifically in Phoenix, but there are many other cities where there is some opportunity. So franchise stores for new franchise agreements are going to be open in those markets. We also have a very good presence of franchise stores in other markets that, of course, we are still willing to keep growing, like, for instance, in New York or New Jersey. And we also have a couple of stores in Atlanta. We want to do more. And we have in Minnesota, we have one. And, of course, we want to do more. In Las Vegas, we currently we have 2, and we're in the process of doing the 3rd one, hopefully in the very near future, and we want to do more. And then for corporate stores, basically our focus is going to be in California, South California, and North California, and San Francisco area, and in South California around Los Angeles. But that's going to be our focus for the next 3 to 4, maybe 5 years.
Love it. And so you're focusing in on market growth, corporate investment alongside franchisees, building these pocket of restaurants, which will help on supply chain management, which will help you protect food costs and everything else. And Blas, so going over to you on the ideal candidates, who this person is, what they look like. What are you looking for in a franchisee?
We've got great franchisees, and we're looking for. We understand that the franchisee is an investor. So we're looking for someone who is a savvy business person, and currently, in whatever their background is, predominantly we are looking for restaurant experience. Restaurant experience is very important. It's an industry that we all know it's a lot of time and effort, but it's very rewarding, and which is something that we're very excited about in the future here. We're also looking for liquidity and net worth minimums. We want to make sure that the franchisees are successful from the get-go. We want to make sure they have an infrastructure that can support the growth that we're looking for in the future. And we also want to make sure that they have the passion. you can have all the money in the world and you can be an investor, but if you don't have the passion for the brand, then it's not going to work. So we definitely are looking for franchisees who share the same vision of growing this brand, celebrating the flavors that we have to offer our consumers. And I think at the end of the day, the numbers will take care of themselves. I'm convinced of that. We've seen it here in Campero. But at the end, we're looking specifically in certain markets where they have capabilities of building the brand, in whether it's in Georgia, whether it's in North Carolina, et cetera, or Arizona. But we want to make sure that there's someone that they're all in. We don't look for someone who is a part-time franchisee. We want someone who is committed, who has the resources, and who has a net worth and the capabilities of growing this brand. And I think with partnering up with our systems, partnering up with the experience that we have, whether it's in marketing, supply chain, or operations, I know very well that this will be a successful venture for them. So those are the kind of criteria that we're looking at, characteristics we're looking. So there's qualitative and there's quantitative. And it's something that we take very seriously for both of them, but it's something that we have to make sure at the end, it's sort of a marriage that's going to be for many years. We want to make sure that both parties are aligned, that both parties really have the same vision of growing the brand, and both parties are going to be successful. Because at the end of the day, if we're successful, they're successful. If they're successful, we're going to be successful. So again, that's what we're really looking for in a partnership agreement.
Appreciate that. LJ, if there's a candidate that happens to watch this, whether they found this on the website or around the web, or we've sent it to them, what do you want them to know about this opportunity? If I start saying why you, why now, what is the thing, if you're speaking directly to me as a candidate, that you want them to know?
Yeah, I think this is the right momentum. We are at the top of the peak right now. Our average unit volumes are super healthy. And the other thing, important thing regarding the profile, and something that Blas didn't mention, is we don't want someone willing to do 50, 70, 100 stores. We want to keep it simple, keep it small. We want to sign agreements between 5 to 10 stores. After, of course, doing those, we are open to do more and to sign more stores. But we don't want anyone to feel the pressure that, okay, probably they are only going to accept someone for a whole state or willing to do 100 stores. No. On the other hand, we want medium-sized investors willing to run a business of, let's say, 5 to 8 stores, maybe in a very good trade area, and as Vlad said, with the passion for this industry. At the end of the day, anyone who really loves the industry knows that this is a service industry. The selling food and chicken is, I would say, the way or the route to deliver experience and service. And anyone willing to live that, which is fantastic, to be close to people and to deliver a service and fantastic experience, anyone who truly loves that is going to be more than welcome to our family here at Pollo Campero.
I think there's an important thing to call out what you just said, and that's majority of franchise brands, they do operate a P&L based on how much can I get from a franchise fee. And majority of brands would say, yes, we want a 50-unit deal. Now, if you took every 50-unit deal that's ever been created in restaurant franchising and said, what percentage of them actually come to fruition, I would imagine it's zero. So what you're saying is let's really perfect the portfolio on the local level. Let's make sure that we're being protective of our product, which was obviously the big passion thing behind this, and passion about product and people and place. Now all of a sudden we start growing this little concentric circle, the franchise operator. Then let's have a conversation about growth. But we don't need to talk about 5 years down the line. Let's really hyper in on this. And I think that's a value that if I'm looking at a brand that is trying to fit values, like that means you actually care about the success.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We don't want to have anyone in default. We have heard many stories where people sign for 50 stores, they maybe do 20, and because of that, okay, but you said and your compromise was to do 50. Now you are in default. No, our business is not about suing our partners. It's not about making anyone in default. We don't want that. We want all of us to be very successful. And because of that, we are trying to put all the structure and the systems together to make everyone very successful. If someone is willing to do it, you know what, I can do in 3 years, maybe 5 stores, that's fine. Let's sign for 5 stores. And once you have opened those 5, we can sign another 3, another 5, another 10. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we want to keep the wheel moving. That's what we want. We don't want to fight. We don't want lawsuits. We don't want to sue anyone. We don't want to make any defaults. That's not, we want to live the passion of growing this brand. This is about, and because of that, that's what we are looking for.
Love it. Last, same to you. Why now? If you're speaking directly to that candidate, what would you say?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. What we're looking for, it's very hard to sign somebody who wants 50 restaurants that really does understand the brand. And I think by doing the 5 to 8, it really allows an introduction to the brand, understanding who we are, the history, because there is a very rich history for the brand. And that's something that you can't do just signing a 50-unit contract to open a restaurant. What I say to the prospective franchise, if you really want to be in a space that is growing, partnering up with a concept that has tremendous opportunity here in the U.S., and allows, based on the historical support levels that we have here, and also the fact that it's an industry that is growing significantly, and we have a track record of success. It's something that you would want to be part of. The 5 to 8 is a great number to start out, because to LJ's point, we want successful franchisees. We don't want anyone to not miss their targets, and not be successful. And I think keeping it focused at the beginning of this growth is going to be very critical for us, because at the end of the day, we have a lot of white space here in the U.S. Once we're successful in Arizona and the Southeast, the rest of the U.S. opens up. But we want to make sure that the openings that we have in these markets are going to be very successful, not only in new markets as Arizona, but in existing markets that we have, whether it's with us or existing franchisees, that we want to make sure that we're all aligned. So if I look at a franchisee now, and I say the opportunity here at Campero is the highest it's ever been, like LJ mentioned, yes, it is probably at the peak, not only at the performance we've been able to generate in the last 2 years, the digital initiatives that we've had. We have some future opportunities on designing the brand, and we're looking into some of these other areas, because we're not going to be standing here the way we have been operating the last 2 or 3 years. We have to look forward, and that's something that we want franchisees to also look forward as far as opportunities, because the whole restaurant industry from a digital aspect is changing ever so much. So we have to have franchisees who are willing to also embrace technology and also embrace the opportunity that the restaurant industry and the dynamics and the paradigm that people say, the model that might have existed 2 or 3 years ago, is not going to be necessarily the model that will exist in the future. So we have to have franchisees who also embrace that vision.
I think there's a big statement there, and that's, as a brand, we're not going to just live on the way that we used to do things. Like, we're going to continue to progress. Now, obviously the stability of the product remains super strong, and the core of what the brand started as and has continued on doesn't change. But what noise and what measures we use beyond business are going to have to continue to evolve. So if, as a candidate, you're looking for a brand that's willing to say, we love our stable history, but in order to go to the next level, we're going to continue to find the best practices, then this brand ends up being the right fit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's good.
LJ, anything in closing that you want our audience to know?
No, just to invite anyone to willing to know a little bit more about Campero, to feel free to call us or to send a message or to go around in our webpage. We are more than happy. This is what we have to do. We want to get in touch with people. We want to invite people to our office to have some food at one of our restaurants. We have quite a few in different markets, so it's something we can do. And I truly believe this is the right moment. In a couple of years, for sure, the markets are not going to be as available as they are right now. So I believe this is the right moment to grow together. And as I said before, we also are willing to grow, because many other brands, they say, you know what, I don't want to grow more with corporate stores. Let's do all of it franchise stores. No, this is not our case, because we believe so hard in our brand. We also are our plan is to open at least 100 stores in the next 5 years, corporate stores. And it's because we truly know that the opportunity is here. So we want many franchises and investors to live the same opportunity together with us.
Love that. And Blas, anything in closing?
Yeah, I from my perspective, it's something that we all are very proud of what we've been able to do in the last several years here in the U.S., but also the brand is a 50-year brand. That says a lot about who we are and where we've come from. The excitement that I see for the brand currently is something that we are open to new franchisees, new opportunities that we have within our portfolio. And we also include diversity as part of our portfolio of franchisees, which is very important for us. We understand that franchisees that come from all walks of life, and we understand that, and LJ and I come from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, the Campero brand is what's number one for us. And if we can have franchisees that have different backgrounds, that have all the requirements that we're looking for and share the same passion that we have for the brand, it's never been a better time to be a franchisee for Campero. I can tell you this. And the more I look and the more I read about us, it's becoming relevant as far as the space in the chicken category. And I welcome all the people who are on this call and any prospective franchisee to Google search us, read about us, do their own due diligence background checks. And to LJ's point, once you taste that, you're going to be sold. There's no doubt about it. That is the clincher. You can read all about it, but I don't think tasting it will give us the justification of people wanting to be part of this brand. And that's something that I leave this to the franchise community, and I challenge them to come try our product and to contact us any way they can. We would be more than happy to have conversations with them. And of course, at the end of the day, if they do qualify, we would welcome them as part of the family.
Love it. I appreciate you guys' enthusiasm. Clearly, you're excited for where the future goes with this brand. And I look forward to hearing about the success as we continue. Thank you so much for your guys' time.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a nice day.
All right.